Hello, everybody. This is Aspie, and you're watching The Incredible Aspie. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've, had a stream like this. I've been really busy at school, so I decided, hey, why not? Today is actually a good day, to finally jump out of the woodwork and do a stream for you guys. Today's stream's gonna be a little different, as instead of just jumping straight into the guitar, I'm going to straight into talking to people or inviting people. I'm going to play you guys a few songs for fun. This is going to be good. All right, let's start. First one, I'm sure you'll all know it. Be sure to share this around. Easy come, easy go. That's just how you live. Oh, take it all, but you never give. Should've known you'd trouble from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open. Why were they open? Give you what I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is that can't do grenade for you. Threw my head on the blame for you. I jumped from run of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. Whoa, now we'll go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby, but you won't do the same. Oh, no, no, no. Black and blue. Leave me till I'm off. Tell the devil I said, hey, when you get back to where you're from. Man, woman, bad woman, that's just what you are. Yeah, you'll smile in my face and rip the brakes out my car. Give you what I had and you tossed it in the trash. Tossed it in the trash, yes you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is that can't do grenade for you. Threw my head on the blame for you. I jumped from run of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. Whoa, I will go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby, but you won't do the same. If my body was on fire, wow, you want me burned out in flame. You say you love me, you're a liar, 'cause you never, ever, ever did, baby. Ooh, no, no. But darling, I'll still catch a grenade for you. Threw my head on the blade for you. And up the run of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. Whoa, I will go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby. You won't do the same. You wouldn't do the same. You wouldn't do the same. Ooh, you wouldn't do the same. No, no, no. Thank you for that. All right, I'm gonna go check the chat just to see what everybody's saying real fast. One sec. I gotta find the exit key right here. All right, I know where this is. I know what to do. Oh, there we are. There we go. Just go in the here. All right. Pop out the chat right here real fast. Pop out the chat. All right. All right. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just getting everything set up right here. Crap. Sorry. Getting everything just set up right here. Google Hangouts, and then yeah, there we go. That works. All right. I'm gonna do another song. All right. Let's think of another song. Kind of hard to think of one at the top of my head. How about I do oh yeah, I'll do Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Be sure to share this around. We both lie silent still in the dead of the night. Though we both like close together, feel miles apart inside. But something I said is something I did. My words did not come out right. No, I tried not to hurt you. No, I tried, but I guess that's why every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah, it does. I listen to a favorite song there on the radio. Hear the DJ say love's a game of easy come and easy go. But I wonder, does it know? Has it ever felt like this? And I know that you'll be here right now if I could let you know somehow. I guess every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings his song. Every rose has its thorn. No, it's been a while now, and it still feels so much pain. Yeah, like a knife that cuts through the wound heals, but the scars that scar remain. Whoa. Couldn't say the love the night if I known what to say. Instead of making love, we both went separate ways. Now I he had found somebody new, and I never meant that life against every road has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn, just like every cowboy sings his song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah, that's a good song. All right. Now let's go back to the 1990s with a little by something by Bryan Adams, who I kind of look a little bit like. Actually, not really. All right, let's start. Wait. I got my first real 16, bought it at the 5 and dime, laid it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of '69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard. Jimmy quit, Jody got married. Should've known we'd never get far. When I look back now, the summer seemed to last forever. And if I had the choice, yeah, I don't wanna be there. Those were the best days of my life. Ain't no use in complaining when you got a job to do. My evenings down out driving, and that's when I met you, yeah. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you wait forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Oh yeah, what the summer of '69. Whoa, whoa. Man, it was a killing time. We were young and reckless. We didn't do it. I guess nothing can last forever, forever, no. Now I see times are changing and everything is coming on. Sometimes when I play this old 6-string, think about you, wonder what went wrong. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you wait forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Oh yeah, what the summer of '69. Oh, what the summer of '69. Ooh, what the summer of '69. Ooh, oh, oh. Hope you guys like that. I'm gonna go check, see if you guys like that. I like you, but not the 90s. Thanks, Conundrum. I really appreciate that. Want to debate? Name the trait, Nick. Oh my gosh. Name the trait. I can't say a single trait, Nick, but I can say that animals inductively on every level are below us. But I'm going to save that debate for another time. Nick, I'd rather you enjoy the music. Anyway, the Kun stream's up. I can see. Crap. All right, I'm going to go down. I'm going to invite some people now. Let me put the Let me put the link in the chat and see if anybody comes in. Yeah, for the I got catfish today, just so you know. Yeah, it wasn't a fun time for me. Well, it was not a fun time, let me just say. Frankly, I thought Armored Skeptic was in Geek Thulu's chat. Turns out he wasn't. Turns out I was being duped the whole time. I thought I was going to get to go on the Kumite with Naked Ape and, all this crap, but it's a long story, but anyway, I'd rather not go through it. It's not exactly happy memories for me. Anyway, I'll put this right here for all of y'all. If any of y'all want to jump in and say hi. How unfair. I know effeminate degenerate is really unfair. I hate being screwed over like that. Yeah. One second, please. I want to switch over. I got to make sure my system preferences are up to par so that I'm not in the dust if I am output. Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. So if anybody comes in, these memes are so terrible. All right.
There we go.
Got to put this in as many different things as I possibly can before. Yeah. Oh, hey, effeminate degenerate. What's going on?
I had a kind of an interesting day.
What went on?
Well, I tried to get to school, but my bike broke on the way there, so I had to walk it back, and then I had to take the bus.
That sucks.
Yeah, but on the whole, it was an interesting day. We watched a movie in history class, a documentary about the French Revolution with really over-the-top melodramatic French acting.
I bet I probably would have enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. Thing about the French Revolution is that while it had good intentions, sometimes the old saying, some of the worst things done in history have been done out of good intentions.
Yeah, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, that's true. I remember the French Revolution. One big part of it was abolishing the sort of religious type. Well, it's just abolishing any form of hierarchy and basically trying to create a ultra egalitarian society. However, I think there are a lot of things that systematic wise which they screwed up, and they created just a really unstable society where a lot of people died. So yeah.
Well, they tried to build a completely new society off of a base of like 3 years, completely alienating pretty much everyone who didn't live in Paris and who wasn't, up to current French politics in the city, and who wasn't always being exposed to these radical new ideas. So in many ways, there was a lot of currents in the French Revolution which were very ahead of its time, like feminist thought. There was kind of proto socialist thought in there as well. But there was also a lot of like really weird ideas, like Robespierre introduced this thing called the cult of the supreme being.
Interesting. What is it? Can you describe this to me?
So basically, the cult of the supreme being was intended to be a Rousseauan replacement for Catholicism, because they didn't like Catholicism. They thought it was backward and counter-revolutionary. So they replaced Catholicism with this new religion where there was just this one god called the supreme being, and that was basically it. That was all there was to the religion.
Really, I thought the French Revolution was a secular movement. You could say they were trying to abolish religion. In fact, they even abolished the regular calendar. They had like a calendar. Yeah. They had like a 10-day weeks and a 300-day years. I think it was. It was very math, and every day was like a different holiday. Like the day of the shovel, the day of the pick, the day of the just. It was very odd.
Yes, they did introduce a new calendar, but there was all sorts of different currents within the French Revolution. So they replaced the months that we have now with 12 months that all had 30 days, and then there were 5 or 6 days left over. And so the months were grape harvest, mist, frost, snowy, rainy, windy, germination, flower, meadow, harvest, summer heat, and fruit. They sound much
Interesting.
better in French.
Yeah, I'm sure. The other thing, French is a very hard language to pronounce. One and two. That is it was kind of an attempt to kind of get away from the old system as much as they could. But
Yeah.
the problem with a lot of revolutions is while the American Revolution was successful, most revolutions end up with something worse than what they tried to abolish, like the Bolshevik Revolution, for existence. It overthrew the Tsar, who was a tyrant too, of course. But if you look at the difference between Lenin and of what happened with Lenin and in the communist state as compared to what happened with what's going on with the Tsar, I think some people would rather go with the Tsar.
Well, yeah, but then Russia would have pretty much stayed an impoverished agricultural state as opposed to becoming a superpower that was a rival to the United States for a period. But I won't deny that there was the massacres in the Soviet Union were abominable and certainly, on a scale almost never before seen.
Well, Lenin was not actually that. Well, Lenin actually, while I don't agree with all his politics, actually had some smarts. He introduced a kind of form of limited capitalism to the system, where I think the heads of the peasant farmers could sell excess grain and whatnot that they had from their harvests. And this actually created economic movements because, frankly, without some sort of free market, you can't have an economy. So you have to allow some freedom for the people to, give what they need. But Stalin when Lenin died, he completely killed pretty much destroyed all of those different policies. And that's why a lot of people in Stalin's Russia starved to death.
Well, another thing about the starvation under Stalin is that grain was always being sent to export just to show that the Soviet Union had surplus for propaganda effect internationally, even though it didn't actually have a surplus. So they were taking grain out of the mouths of hungry people and putting it into just these granaries to send off to shipping. But I will challenge the idea that you need a free market to have an economy, because if you look at the economic growth in the Soviet Union under Stalin, aside from the World War II years, it's actually quite impressive.
They attempted to, but the ability to manage the resources that were created from this massive economic growth was not good at all. The thing with state management is that it's better for price. It's better for society to set the prices and whatnot, rather than the state just does not have the capability of dispensing dispensing out grain to people or products to people fairly, I would say.
Well, what I will say is that the Soviet Union did get to be incredibly, ridiculously bureaucratic, and I'm certainly no Marxist-Leninist.
I mean, of course. I mean, you'd have to. I mean, to be an absolute communist or Marxist, you have to be somewhat disattached from society, because I think time has proven that a true social capitalist, communist society cannot exist. It's just impossible. Human nature prevents it. Pretty much everything prevents a good communist society from existing.
Well, what would you make of Rojava?
What would I make of what?
Rojava.
Rojava. Is that like what's that? I don't know what that is.
Well, you might say it's the closest society has ever gotten to communism, and it exists right now in Syria. Specifically, the Kurds have instituted a form of libertarian socialism that's running quite successfully.
The Syria, yeah, that sounds like a good society. I'm joking. Syria's not in good shape right now, but I have to do more research.
Part of Syria. It's a break off from Syria.
I see.
The Kurds were an oppressed ethnic group within Syria. They've broken away.
Kind of like Catalonia in Spain.
Yes, yes, very much so.
Well, there was a lot of bad stuff that happened in Catalonia. There were a lot of abuses and whatnot. You know, I mean, some people say that like Orwell system, but but there were a lot of mishandlings of power and a lot of crimes against humanity that was done in Catalonia. Even though, I mean, I would have to do more research on the fact. I mean, I'm not as well read up on this subject as probably you are, but I can see where you're going with this. Although it is an interesting argument for people to say that communism can only happen, or these socialist states can only happen on like very small like in very smaller communities rather than big giant countries.
Well, the whole point of communism is to abolish the state. You know, communism is a stateless, classless society. I'm not a communist though, because well, first of all, just I don't know, I see it as a kind of being very difficult to reach this ideal of stateless, classless, moneyless society.
It's impossible.
Well, I mean, human prehistory was communist. It's hard to find a class.
What do you mean? What do you mean human prehistory was communist?
I mean it in this sense. In the sense that human prehistory did not have the emergent of fixed classes. The prehistory didn't really have money. You know, money was an invention of the Lydian kingdom in I think 7th century BC.
Yeah, because you can only go so far with the bartering system.
And I honestly, this is kind of aside the point, but I think money is somewhat overrated as the source of evil. I think the problem is greed, not money.
Oh yeah.
That we can all agree on. Greed is what's causing this world to go down its shitty route.
Well, the thing is, the problem is with greed is you cannot counteract greed with more greed. You can't, it's like saying, oh, the leader of this corporation is a greedy asshole, so we're going to give it to him. So we're going to take the money and we're going to give it to greedy bureaucrats who are probably just as bigger, or probably much bigger assholes.
Well, I wouldn't. I'd say that they probably be about equal and just bad in different ways. I mean, I don't know that, they're both, bureaucracy and the corporation are both huge, both huge hierarchies, and they both, in some ways, corporations function as mini states sometimes. Sometimes they hire out their own private guards, private security. They have their own legal defense. And some of these companies are much larger than the economies of third world countries.
True. Yeah. I mean, I remember I actually did an entire report on the man who created Domino's, Tom Monaghan, who's actually a pretty good guy. He's a Catholic, a very generous person, you could say. I mean, he sold Domino's to Bain Capital, and you can think about whatever you want about Bain Capital, but they're just another stock firm, and it's a publicly traded company now. But the man pretty much just worked his entire life for what he has. I mean, he slept in his office for years. He just trying to keep his business afloat. And it's ironic. Domino's found their niche in colleges. They would set up their pizza stores right next to colleges because let's face it, college kids love pizza. And
we do. They do.
Oh yeah, it's one of their life sustenance, like Starbucks coffee.
Man, Patrick, you look nothing like I imagined you.
What is that supposed to mean?
I was about to say.
Nothing. What are you smoking? A cigarette?
Yeah, I know it's bad for me, but it deals with the PTSD.
I see.
Well,
PTSD from what?
When my first fiance died.
I see.
Oh, that's terrible. I never knew.
Oh, dang. I never heard about that.
Yeah, my high school sweetheart, she died in a house fire.
Oh, that's sad.
Dang.
Life is so unfair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me, my sister's fiance back in the day also passed away. I think he died in a car wreck.
That's sad.
He actually had a tattoo of his name on her.
Yeah.
That sometimes is a bad thing to get a tattoo of somebody when you're dating. When you're in a relationship or married, it's kind of a social taboo to get that tattoo on you of that.
Yeah. Because you never know when the relationship could just go down the shitter.
Oh yeah, and you're permanently marked with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, don't they have like a new surgery to where they can actually remove tattoos? Like I heard it's not
Yeah, but it
painful,
hurts like
but
hell.
yeah, I saw like a documentary of this former skinhead who actually had so many tattoos on his face, and because he was having a hard time getting a job, he had reformed himself. He had left the group. He was a better person now, but he had all these tattoos, and he was having a hard time, getting hired. It was a taboo, social taboo. People were staring at us, and he decided, I'm going to have all these tattoos taken off. So they had to go through his entire face, numb him up, laser him all off. And trust me, the guy was in some pain for a while, but I think they eventually got him all off of him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, by the way, you might see my fiance tonight because she's on her way here.
Oh, we'd love to see her.
Yeah, her nickname is Delirium.
Oh.
Yeah. Why'd you decide to turn on the camera?
I finally want to reveal who I am.
All right. Yeah,
Before you all pull back the curtain to reveal the wizard's going to reveal himself.
Yeah.
Do not look at the man behind the what was it? Do not look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually I bought this book right here a long time ago, but I never read it. It's I read a little bit of it. It's The End of Racism by Dinesh D'Souza. Actually a very interesting book.
Ooh,
where he talks about how a lot of the why basically arguing for the point that racism is not the main cause of black ills today, but is instead cultural problems within the black community.
I've heard this argument before.
It's a very common argument. I agree with it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't, but we can talk.
I thought you didn't.
Oh, I have to ask you something, Lapis.
Yeah?
I'm Irish, by the way, and we always got stereotyped, and the way we beat our stereotypes was to embrace them and laugh at them. Laugh with them.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, it depends on the Irish person, of course.
Yeah, believe me, that's how my mom taught me. The way you don't give those terms power is you embrace them and turn them into a joke.
Yeah, that's the thing is that a lot of people comedians are like, oh, people get on comedians for embracing stereotypes. Like Tyler Perry, who makes comedy movies that involving black culture, and he shows a lot of stereotypical depictions of, and a lot of the black characters in his show are like of hyper stereotypical people. I mean, it's hilarious. A lot of people go on to him for, taking advantage of the black stereotype. But actually, I don't think it's that bad of a thing, because I think, I think it actually is different, because he's not, making people think these stereotypes by doing this. He's instead making people think that this is funny because these stereotypes are stupid. They're ridiculous. And that's, like, it's like certain cultural the hyper stereotyping of cultural norms is funny because it's ridiculous.
Yes, no, because I'm Irish, I get called all these names like I'm a drunk, and it's like I just laugh it off.
How do you like your potatoes, baked or mashed?
I like them any style.
True Irishman, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is that.
Oh, believe me, my fiance is always after me because she's always after my Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
They are pretty good, actually. I'm not going to say that they aren't.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I'm sure you make her think that other parts of you are magically delicious. Anyway.
Oh, Aspie, I'm not going to get into that.
All right.
I'm just going to focus. I'm not going to get into that either.
You're going to get me hit in the head with a frying pan, and I don't have the frying pan antidote made yet.
Yeah, I like potatoes. My dad always makes them fried. He just puts some onion and garlic salt in a pan and some olive oil, and then he'll throw some chopped up potatoes in there and fry them. They're really delicious.
Fries. Fries.
You're
That's what I
cutting
use.
out,
Mashed.
Aspie.
What?
That's what I do with my potatoes. What I do is I cut up green peppers. I put a little bit of olive oil, some minced garlic, some Himalayan sea salt, because that's a healthier version of salt, the pink style Himalayan sea salt. And
Yeah,
I make a really good dish.
yeah. The sorry, I've got to get back
By the
in.
way, Aspie, I love your guitar playing skills and your singing. You're pretty good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that song. Yeah, I was singing Bruno Mars, and a few weeks ago, I remember some people in the kind of far left crowd were getting onto him for cultural appropriation, essentially saying that he's racially ambiguous and that he's appropriating Black culture, and I'm just like, I hate cultural appropriation. I'm a musician. Here's my thing. If you get influenced by something, I mean, is it stealing to a degree? Kinda, but it's not like, like stealing somebody's like car or something. I would say that it's a benevolent type of theft because it shows cultural acceptance. It's a form of saying, hey, it's kind of saying, hey, I like this person's culture. Therefore, I think as Jordan Peterson said, it's actually the basis for peace. Actually,
Jordan Peterson. Okay.
I know you don't agree with everything Jordan Peterson says, but I think he makes a good point on this matter.
But I always think that argument with cultural appropriation is every time we eat spaghetti and meatballs, aren't we culturally appropriating Italian?
As Europeans, it doesn't count.
Every time we try jerk chicken and we like it, aren't we appropriating Jamaican culture?
Well, the thing with cultural appropriation is that it really depends on the case. Like, I can't remember what they were called. I think the Rolling Stones. They took a bunch of, kind of blues music. I'm like, I can't even remember the band name, but there was this band, this American band, which took a bunch of blues music, which is traditionally freestyle, and these Black people, could. They would just go and mix and match all their rhymes, and they took that music and they copyrighted it, commodified it, and basically spoiled the whole culture. And I think that is a case of cultural appropriation because you're spoiling the pool for everyone.
So wait, is somebody taking Elvis Presley when he created rockabilly was essentially a mixture of country and blues. It was a mixture of two styles. So here's the thing about music: it's constantly forming, it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing.
Exactly.
So to say that somebody takes some influences and stuff from one culture and uses it in their music, I don't see anything inherently wrong with that.
No, I don't either. My point is that he commodified it. That band commodified it and prevented anyone else from then being able to use it as they had done for so many years.
Oh, I see where Lapis is coming from. If you copyright it, then it's cultural appropriation. You're saying it's yours. You made it. You're the one who invented it.
Yeah. I see. Well, that's just stealing a song. I don't think Elvis Presley didn't steal Hound Dog. I think somebody else wrote Hound Dog. I think it was like a Black woman originally sang it, but then Elvis Presley made it like huge. So, I mean, Elvis Presley was already a big figure, and he just made the songs. I think Elvis Presley was one of the people in history that brought Black music to the forefront. I mean, I think Americans have always had kind of a fascination with kind of Black culture. We kind of talked about this in a music history where we were talking about how frankly, those Black minstrel shows, frankly, they were around a lot longer than what I thought they were. It wasn't just like some small little spring up. It was like for a long time. And while the reason why they lasted so long was not because, the racial humor, because it probably would have died out much sooner. That it was because people consider it a kind of rebellion against the kind of uppity white, Northern culture, like in New York City and whatnot, that, that kind of pompous and kind of looking down at your nose type people. Yeah.
Well, you can see that sort of culture even in like the South, even in planter societies, like the old elite, planter elite that existed in the South, and even after the end of slavery, continued to own the plantation.
And you could also see it in the Old West culture also.
Yeah.
Well, it went from slavery to sharecropping, which was where they would where they would buy a piece of land to live on or farm, and then they would work, and then they would take the shares from that field, and they would give it to and they would sell it to the person who owned the land, who they bought the land from as payment. But the thing is that originally it was built to where a lot of the plantation owners would keep them in on that plantation, you could say, in permanently sharecropping,
like a new form of slavery.
Well, I mean,
not
I don't think it's slavery in the same way as whips and chains, but it was definitely in a way kind of wage slavery, you could say. I mean, it's not the same as chattel, but at the same time, chattel slavery was not something. A lot of people say chattel slavery was something that was unique to the Americas. I mean, it was practiced by many other cultures, some African cultures, the Middle Eastern cultures. Well,
the comparison with African slavery I find is interesting, because the form of chattel slavery kind of emerged during the transatlantic trade. Before that, African slavery is quite different. If you read accounts by, people who were enslaved at the time by both systems, they, quite clearly say that the European one was much worse.
Well, sure, they weren't. They weren't taken on a ship to Jamaica. 80% of the people.
Well, sometimes they were.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, about 5%, only like a very tiny percent of the slaves that were bought and sold during the Atlantic slave trade actually made it to North America. Like, I think it was like 5%. All the rest of them went to the Caribbean to work on the sugar fields, and sugar cane. And pretty much, if you went to Jamaica, it was essentially a death sentence for you, because if you went to work in Caribbean, there's a good chance that you would die in like the first couple of years. So you didn't last long there. However, if you ended up in like the rice or tobacco fields, you were bound to be a lot better off. I mean, you were a slave, but you were at least going to live.
Although that's not necessarily because of the benevolency of the master, but more because
I'm sure I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just like,
But Lapis, can I ask, what are you studying in college anyway?
I'm not in college. I'm a high schooler.
Oh, okay.
You're in high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you a senior, junior?
I am a senior.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, because my fiance is studying mortuary science.
Oh, cool.
Mortuary science?
Yeah, that sounds kind of like a very 19th century discipline.
It's about the dead.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So when she gets her degree and become a mortician, I made this joke with her. Now I officially can call you mortician now.
Yeah. Tried to get Gemini in here. I guess he's not.
Oh Lord!
Just got the next best gem.
There's weird quirks about me and my fiance. We actually, do you know where we have picnics at half the time?
Where?
In graveyards.
Huh. So you're like the Addams family.
Yeah, we are the living embodiment of the Addams family.
Well, you're Wiccan, so that's just as weird.
I always say this: potato, potato.
Yeah, true.
That's
potato, potato.
You have to know that's an Irishman saying.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Aspie, I have to say, I love the stuff in your room in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the beach is calling and must go.
I see. Road
worn. I like that sign.
Yeah, My mother decorated my room because I have no taste in pretty much anything.
You're not the only one, dude. I have.
You have no taste in anything, Aspie, including food.
What?
Including food. You don't have any taste for food.
Oh, oh no, I love food.
So you do have a taste for something.
In fact, I went to a Mexican restaurant to have some steak fajitas.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was good.
Very good.
Yeah, I actually got kielbasa and pierogies on the stove cooking.
You into Polish food, huh?
I'm into any food. Any food is edible, I eat it.
I can tell.
Oh, so you're into seafood.
Yeah, I'm into seafood. If I see food, I eat it.
That's me. Except as long as it isn't like. As long as it isn't actual seafood.
Except for one thing, tuna. I hate tuna.
Oh, you and me both, dude. I can't stand it.
No, the thing is, I ate it so much in my childhood, I got sick of it.
Don't make this. All right, anyway, I don't like tuna either. Although I do like, there's this poke place right next to our house, where that's like a few miles away, and it's actually really good. Poke, if you don't know what poke is, it's pretty much like sushi. It's from Hawaii, but it's not like wrapped in stuff and everything. You go there and they give you like a bowl, and you get like either like salad or like rice in it, and then you they give you like some salt. Then they put some toppings in there, they put like fish. You can pick like salmon, crab. You can pick like multiple types of seafoods. They put that in there, and like they scoop it out and put it in there. And then they give you like some other toppings like beans or like soybeans, corn, a lot of different other toppings. And then you go get sauces, and it's really good.
Yeah. In my area, we have a lot of ramen houses, and me and my fiance go there all the time for some food.
I need to try some real ramen instead of that fake ramen.
What state do you live in?
I live in the state where J.J. Skinner hates a certain Super Bowl team for winning.
Damn you, Philly.
Damn. Oh, you live in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Get it right, Aspie. It's not Philadelphia. We call it Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
I just can't stand the Eagles fans, especially because not only are they rude and disrespectful, they riot even though they win.
Oh, believe me. I'll tell you, the Frankfurt Terminal, they had to shut that down because they were lighting fires in the trash cans.
Not surprising at all.
Oh, believe me. I know how this is why I don't like sports in Philly half the time. We become total savages. No offense at anybody in that term.
Oh, no.
We're social degenerates in general.
Oh, yeah, social degeneracy.
Social degeneracy.
But Philadelphia fans are not as bad as John Cena fans. I will state that.
That is very true.
Although for a while I was thinking to myself if I would like to debate effeminate degenerate on the topic of whether or not gender roles are important to society or not. But that would I would have to go around, but I'm busy right now. I would have to find like 10. I would have to find at least like 10 sources to support my claim.
Yeah, you have to there has to be like an actual argument.
Yeah, you can't just jump on the thing with debates is that I learned a long time ago. You can't just, jump into a debate and just, okay, let's debate. Okay, let's do that. You're going to get creamed. You just go in or it's going to be a shit show. Just go find some sources, get out a note pen, write down some arguments, write down some facts from these sources that give you your argument. Make sure the sources are good, because if they're not good, you're going to get creamed even worse.
Oh yeah, you don't want to make any logical fallacies in your counterpoints.
Wikipedia.
Yep. And also, what I usually do in my debates, before the last question is asked, I let the audience actually have a couple minutes to answer questions about each other and how we are. You make a time limit for each each topic you do in a debate. Pretend you're talking with Lapis about 3 subjects. Make each of those talking points a certain time limit in that talking point, and you give yourself like a certain amount of rebuttal time.
Yeah. I would write the thing with debates. I would have to for my opening statement, because I'm not very articulate with my language, I would have to write down my opening statement word for word and read it off. Like, I would sound like, if you ever watch my videos, I sound very well spoken, but that's because not even there I sound well spoken. The reason why I sound better is because I write out every word I say and then I say it. But if I don't do that, I stutter. I sound very awkward. I mean, I'm a smart person, but I'm a musician. But I can't. But
You're just socially awkward.
I'm just very
Aspie,
awkward.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm on the spectrum too, and believe me, script writing is good with videos a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried doing an extemporaneous video. It did not work out.
What?
Extemporaneous means off the top of your head.
Oh yeah.
That does not work. I tried that a few times. It took me forever. I remember in the early...
And if I didn't have a script for something, usually I make like a video presentation where I use text half the time.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to the evil right-wing site, to the Drudge Report, and take a look at what's going on in the news.
Oh, just drudge it up already, Aspie.
Yeah, I like the Drudge Report. It's actually a good site. I mean, the guy's a big Trump fan, but he still manages to put a lot of stuff on there from both sides.
I just learned something from Atheist Republic.
Amy Schumer, sorry for being white. Okay, I gotta go see this.
Okay, but Amy Schumer, like, the thing is that everyone hates her.
Oh yeah.
Yay! At least we're not the only ones.
I think because she's a celebrity. Most of these celebrities do these type of things to get notoriety, the fame.
Yeah.
But I'm not, that I could say can be true or not can be true at the same time.
Okay, let's take a look at this article right here. 1 second, please. No, thanks. All right. I am a Caucasian. Amy Schumer goes on The View, says a woman of color should have played her in new movie.
I'm not even going to watch that movie, so it's already shit.
Wait, she was like, should have played Amy Schumer?
Yeah, Amy Schumer confirmed she is in fact White Friday on The View.
Okay, there's a syntax error there, but never mind.
Yeah, I hate that these people who write these articles are terrible sometimes. She stated that she would have liked if a woman of color was the star. The new movie, I Feel Pretty, the movie that she herself, a white woman, chose to star in.
Well, I mean, it's not too late. You can always say, I don't want to star in it.
Honestly, if I got
I think it's coming out very soon.
Like, why would you audition for it if you're like, this is just like patronizing nonsense. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I wish that a woman of color had gotten a chance for the role. And they're like, then why did you step aside? You just want to look progressive, even though you don't act it. Ugh, Amy Schumer.
The backlash was people were saying your character is a blonde of healthy weight who is attractive, and you're supposed to make us believe that you are ugly. How do you respond to that? First of all, that's the nicest backlash I've ever heard, Schumer said. No, it just made me excited for people to see the movie, she said. It's not about an ugly, vile troll getting beautiful. It's about a girl who really struggles with self-esteem, which is something we can all relate to. Also, I think it is fair to say that it's a lot harder for other people, she added. And I recognize that I am a Caucasian. Like, I would love if this movie were starring a woman of color who had it way harder than me. I hope we get there. This is hopefully just a step in the right direction.
Like, okay, like, you're just another white star. You are no different than, like, hundreds of thousands of other white stars that have started.
And you're a comedian also. And her basic...
I would be hesitant to call her a comedian.
Comedian. All her jokes are basically, my vagina stinks, and...
yeah. I hate to say it, stinky vagina jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a man talking about how rancid his penis is.
Like, it's so unappealing. Like, no matter which gender does it, like, I just hate that kind of comedy.
Yeah, I hate that kind of comedy too. Even though it's comedy humor can be subjective, but it's still distasteful in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to go to the one of the most a really famous site for feminism. Come on.
Oh, I got something to share. Afghanistan's first female rapper was physically attacked by 10 men for not wearing the hijab, but she still fights for women's rights through her music.
Well, that's very
I would say something funny. I could say something funny about that, but I rather not because I don't want to drum up anything.
What? Marriage institutions aren't just sexist. They're ableist and disrespectful to people with disabilities.
I have been called ableist by Owen and several people just for pointing out that there are mental problems with people.
Oh my God.
Like what? Ableism, it depends on how you define it. Some of the definitions I've heard of ableism are wrong and I think counterproductive. Some of them are useful. Like, I'm all for increased awareness and activism on behalf of those who suffer from physical and mental disabilities.
Yeah.
What I don't
support have a mental disability, and I say there's things wrong with people, like what's it called? Like murderous tendencies.
Well,
the thing is, people who commit murders aren't always like mentally ill. I think it's like something like 20% are mentally ill. It's not like this. It's not that all murderers are mentally ill, as it's.
I know, but I'm just talking about the ones that are,
CW,
like psychotic, ones that are actually crazy.
You know what CW means? CW, violence against disability.
Oh, content warning.
Content warning. Why did they stop using trigger warning?
Because trigger is it doesn't matter.
It's attached to
triggering.
No, I don't know. The thing, Everyday Feminism. That website. I've seen a few good articles from that website, but it's unfortunately I think it's ingested a bit too much of Tumblr.
Yeah. Okay, let's read through this.
Like I always say, something. It's like I can see the word trigger. They changed it because the word trigger got so corrupted by other people, it became sort of a joke now.
All right, here we go. When Cassandra J. Perry, a multiply disabled activist and writer, was in peak dating mode, they were hit with assumptions that they were looking for a caregiver instead of a romantic partner. While they may seem like a harsh leap to people who aren't disabled, this is a common experience for disabled people who are single and looking for romance. Growing up as a disabled Chinese girl, I was told that I needed to marry a nice Christian Chinese man to take care of me.
Okay, minus the Chinese, I think that's what a lot of girls in America hear. And I think it's sexist bullshit, but like, it's not just because she's disabled, in my opinion.
I mean, what you mean? You don't think the notion that women should want to be taken care of by men is an accurate depiction?
Well, I don't like. I think it's okay. Like, I don't think women need a man to take care of them, is my opinion.
Well, they don't need it, but I think a lot of women prefer it.
Well, I'm sure like a lot of men prefer a woman to be with as well. Like, it's not, or a lot of women prefer women to be with. And I think most people do want a partner of some kind, whether that be romantic or sexual, but some don't want it at all.
Are evolved to a degree to be somewhat dependent on men. They don't have to be. They don't really have to be, but at the same time, there is somewhat of an instinctual drive to want a man in most cases.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, there's the 10% of the population that only wants women.
Well, the lesbians, you mean?
Women. Yeah. It's a pretty sizable chunk too.
Well, the thing about lesbianism is that the women tend to have very what's the word for it? Flexible sexuality preferences. Like you hear the old joke that women, she just needs like a good, effing and stuff, or she just needs, she hasn't found a good man yet. A lot of times that tends to be true. I mean, I've found articles. I mean, I need to look more into the scientific data on this.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I mean, I first heard it from Milo Yiannopoulos, so it's probably so. But honestly, I looked into it. It actually is somewhat of a legitimate point. Women are more likely to change their sexual preferences over time.
Yeah, but he said that lesbians don't exist, which is like stupid.
A little bit. He's a bit of a playboy. He's a bit of a kind of provocateur. I mean, you can't take everything he says seriously.
He doxed a transgender student at university.
I think that there's some stuff, some kind of what's the word for it? That story was a little bit inaccurate or misinterpreted. But anyway,
then you see clips of him serenading Nazis.
Serenading
the beautiful, like he's singing to Richard Spencer and a bunch of the other like biggest white nationalists in America.
Yeah,
he's singing "America the Beautiful."
I need to see that. There's a lot.
I'll find the clip for you if you want.
The thing is, sure. I'll say this: if Milo is truly serious on that, which I really don't think he is. I think he is serious on it, but sorry, my words got jumbled. If he's joking around, which I don't think he is, or if he's serious, it's still bad on Milo.
Anyway, let's read through this. Let's keep reading. There's a lot to unpack in those few words, but what I stood out was the misperception that I'd be independent. I'd be dependent on my partner. Sorry. Simultaneously, I was told that I'd have a hard time finding someone at all who'd want to be with me despite my disability. Spoiler alert. It wasn't difficult, and actually we take care of ourselves as well as each other. People automatically assume you can't do things or you're going to be a burden, said 36-year-old Perry, who lives in Washington, D.C. They add that there's an unwillingness among the online dating community to pursue a relationship with someone who's disabled once their disability is disclosed. Well, I avoid the Paul McCartney joke, Hunter. Let's keep going. From an early age, we are socialized to follow oppressive gender norms and heteronormativity standards that push us to follow a narrow life trajectory. Grow up, find a partner before the age of 30, get married, and have kids. Well, that's what most women want. Unfortunately, single women and non-binary women, in particular, non-binary people. I don't know why I said. I guess women and non-people like got mixed up in my head. But anyway, in particular, are often looked down upon for not having children, not finding a partner by a certain age, and not being desirable enough, as if being single can never be a conscious choice. I need to.
And you want to hear something, Aspie, with this article? I have to agree, because I myself, as a disabled person, can actually agree with a lot of it, because a lot of people I dated looked down upon me because I was disabled and they thought I wanted a caretaker, which I didn't want.
Sure, people do have. So people I have not hired. I have been trying to get a job for a long time, and people have not hired me for. I'm not gonna say. I don't like to victimize myself. I'm not gonna say it because maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But sometimes I think to myself, these people don't want to hire me because I'm autistic. But I mean, I don't tell them, but I think they get the perception by the way I act. So, but either way, if people don't want to hire me, that's their business, not mine.
It's their loss.
Yeah, it's their loss. Yeah. That's what I say. My mother actually came in crying one day, so sad that I couldn't find a job. She was like, "It is so sad that nobody will hire you. It would be a privilege for somebody to hire you." And I'm like, and she's like, "I don't want you to be a victim, but I also don't want you to give up trying to find a job. You'll eventually find one." And yeah, let's keep reading. And this, of course, is nothing new. The connection between sexism, marriage, and disability stigma comes from a centuries-long history of discrimination against disabled people, particularly women. okay, I disagree with this one here. For not that I disagree with the fact that it was because of a long history of discrimination against disabled people. I think that the term disability literally means a lack of ability, meaning that on certain cases, like a person who's in a wheelchair is probably not going to be able to work on a construction site as well as somebody who has both of his legs.
But they might not really be much of a disadvantaged as a cashier or something.
True, a cashier, that's a whole other thing. I mean, if somebody has cerebral palsy, that's different from being in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, is nothing new. The connection, I already read through that. In the late 1800s, women who behaved satisfactory towards their husbands were actually sent to mental health institutions and declared to be insane. I gotta check into that. Some reasons they listed were hysteria, female trouble. What women?
Aspie, I hate to say this, but that's true.
Yeah, the hysteria thing is true. Women at the time were like, oh, she has hysteria, when it's just like, no, she's sick, or no, she just hates you.
She lost it. Well, in the 1800s, it was you could call it a bit of a more basic time.
A worse time.
Oh, yeah. With mental health back in the 1800s, it was considered basically the Dark Ages.
Yeah, mental health.
You were pretty much fucked if you had one.
You can find videos on what happened in some of these mental health asylums. Just made me want to throw up.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the thing is, that's the worst part, because there was a famous mental asylum where I'm at, called Byberry. It's basically, if you go in there, you'll be lucky to go out and be sane and not missing a piece of your brain at the same time.
Some people, sometimes they would do a popular medical procedure that was really popular at the time called lobotomy, where they would literally take a screwdriver, put it up into the top of your eyeball, and nail it in with a hammer, thinking that putting a hole in your
wasn't that a lobotomy?
Yeah, in a lobotomy, putting a hole in your frontal lobe was gonna fix all your problems.
No,
you got to take out the frontal lobe in general.
Aspie, that's not how they do it.
What do?
They take a pick, an ice pick. You did everything right. Insert it in the where the skull is.
Ice socket.
And then they take a chunk of your brain out.
Ouch.
Yep.
Dang, I hope they at least gave them what's the word? I hope they at least gave them some kind of numbing agent.
No,
they didn't.
The thing is, they didn't do that. You have to know anesthetic was not around at that time.
Damn.
And the thing is, most people didn't survive the procedure. And if they did, for instance, if they did survive the procedure,
they'd be zombies.
Yeah, but also they're prone to more infection.
Yeah. It was terrible.
And lobotomy is a very bad thing, considering it. It's like, how you have that little thought thinking maybe this is a bad idea? That's pretty much taken out of the equation, and you're just impulsive.
One of the Kennedys had it done to her.
He's right.
Rose Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't go bad for everybody. Some people it helped, and some people it just destroyed.
So far, this article would be an example of one of the ones that actually does have some good information, even if it is a bit too, it kind of gets a bit stuck in the sort of academic, weird language that you find in a lot of these.
And in everyday feminism, sometimes crazy people make good points. I mean, even Hitler made good points sometimes. Don't take that out of context, people. I don't mean any of his social stuff. I mean some of his economic stuff. That's it.
Well, things like he was against cigarettes and against smoking.
Yeah, that's one of the very few things he actually did that was kind of right.
And also animal rights.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
and conservation of wilderness.
What?
He was a conservationist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't Hitler like the first guy to put in a minimum wage or a paid work leave or something, like a 8-hour workday? Yeah, he was the first guy to put in an 8-hour workday.
I'd check that again.
Yeah, I'll probably check that too. Anyway, let's keep reading. On being disabled and desired. When it comes to relationships and sexuality today, disabled people often experience additional discrimination and patronizing attitudes, even from non-disabled loved ones. People with disability may be pressured by their families or social circles to settle and marry current partners or find a partner they can pass the torch to next, as if a disability is a form of baggage. Disability activist Christian Schultz, 29, says families tend to want their disabled relatives to transcend their barriers, that is, follow a traditional life trajectory successfully in spite of their disabilities. I think, too, there is a lot of families who go to the other way and infantilize the person who's disabled. Oh, nobody's going to love you. It's better if you live with me forever. You'll be lucky if you can find someone. These comments I heard growing up, says Schultz, a sex educator based in Madison. Schultz has 16 diagnoses that include fibromyalgia, systematic juvenile arthritis, and PTSD. Man, this woman has had it rough. I can imagine that be true because my parents won't let me drive long distances sometimes because, I mean, it's probably because they're expensive, but also because they probably don't trust me not to get in a crash.
Yeah, you have that. Aspie, don't. I'm not trying to say anything mean, but you have a short attention span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Let's keep going.
We're talking about you.
All right. Some of these were already negative self-talk, but then you're going to get it reinforced from people around you, Schultz says. It's another hit to self-esteem. In the 1930s, during the Holocaust, the Nazi government passed a law that allowed for people with disabilities to be sterilized. Shortly after, they used disabled people in human experiments, considering them to be weak and a burden on society anyway. While this past treatment of disabled people is undoubtedly horrible, historical prejudice remains today. Indeed, people with disabilities are rarely seen as sexually experienced, desirable, or worthy of a romantic life.
I will say that sometimes being viewed sexually is not always a positive thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like if you're I'm sure some pedophiles would like kids in wheelchairs because they can't run away.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that is sick.
Yeah, that's gross.
That let me put it this way.
Yeah, it's actually based off of a joke I heard from Frankie Boyle.
I'm going to say something, Aspie.
What?
My humor may be morbid, but you just made all the dead just rise up and just walk away in disgust.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, people.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, in fact,
I have a bad sense of humor. Also, I have no sense towards some taboo. Anyway, let's go. Let's keep going. In fact, disabled are often treated and viewed even by people close to them as anything but. In my own life, I've learned that these external perceptions can turn into internalized ableism.
Oh, internalized. Yeah. Have you ever encountered feelings that Aspie, that you feel like, oh, I'm inferior because I'm autistic, I'm bad because I'm autistic. Have you ever felt that way?
Have I ever felt like I'm worse at certain things than other people because of my disability? I think that's kind of a fact, but I don't think in more on a moral basis I'm better or worse than anybody else.
Okay, so that's more what I'm thinking here. Yeah. So
I can internalize it myself, how I feel with my own condition. Like sometimes when I get something wrong, I beat myself up because I know I can't process it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she's here.
Who's here?
The lovely fiancée. Care to turn on the camera and introduce her?
Oh yeah, she's at the door probably.
Oh, I see.
I just heard the key.
All right, I'll stop screen sharing.
I'm just waiting right now. I think it's her, or she's checking the mailbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna check.
My package coming.
For that joke, I think I'm gonna private this stream right afterwards. Yes. Or unlist it so I don't lose the views.
Get your channel taken down by YouTube.
Yeah.
Humor.
I mean, I already got 2 strikes for certain things that could have been counting as bullying.
Didn't the Josman do a strike on you?
Oh, holy cow!
No.
Her bus is pulled off soon. 66.
That's what he said on his channel, though. He said, "I'm responsible for the strike on someone's channel."
I don't think it was mine, though.
No, I can't remember whose it was, but it was someone.
Oh, he said he was responsible for a strike on my channel because he helped me make a certain video.
I see. Okay. Well, it's good that he didn't.
He's on the bus right now that just pulled off from work.
But of course, that was before this whole incident and before he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. This drama is so like I'm almost done a video I made about it. It's like I think it's kind of wound down a bit.
Yeah, I just feel like every time when the fire dies down, a wind blows up to set it up even more.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I forgot your real name for a second there, Humane Mind.
Hello, Humane. What's up?
I don't think I ever knew
Humane Mind?
Like I
by the way, Humane.
By the
way, everybody, I have to say one thing. Happy Weedmas, everybody. Let's all smoke up.
Yeah.
Man, if only it were legal where I lived and I was able to smoke me some.
Yeah. Hey, eHumane, we were reading a what is it? We were reading a everyday feminism article.
No, why would you torture yourself like this?
It actually wasn't that bad. Actually, wasn't that bad of an article.
Yeah. What was more cringy was a bit of wisdom from Amy Schumer, where she was like, "Oh, I wish a black actress had played my role." And I'm like, "Well, why didn't you retire before then? Why didn't you let that black actress take your role then?"
Yeah, it's kind of like those billionaires. I wish the government would take more of my money. Well, who's stopping you? I wish somebody else would have taken my role. Okay, then turn it down.
Although to be fair, like some of the billionaires could make the choice to add the tax back to the thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can donate as much money as you want to the government. The government doesn't mind if you overpay them.
Like, why would anyone mind?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're giving the government a free loan. They love it when you don't file your taxes and they owe you money. What they don't like is when you file taxes and you owe them money and you don't pay them.
If somebody pays me more than what I was given than what I wanted, I always want. I never like taking more than what I want. Like I remember my grandma. I'll take her to the store, and she'll like, here's some money for you, and I'm like, Nanny, I don't want that, please. I don't want. And then she goes, no. Then she'll just leave it in the car.
Yeah, because you're sensible and you understand that money it's not earned is basically worthless. I don't like it's your money that you earned, and so then you understand the value of it. It's money that's just handed around.
Yeah, this is why I feel so frustrated about not being able to have a job, because I want money that I've earned myself. I don't want to feel. I don't want to.
It feels better.
I hate the feeling. It's like, oh, your parents pay for everything. That's lucky. It's just like I feel terrible. I feel like I'm a leech.
Like a parasite.
I feel just like a parasite. I want to have my own money. I want to make my own money and pay for my own stuff, because while I may not be able to afford all the nice things that I usually want, I don't even want a lot out of life. I just want food and a place over and a roof over my head. Even if that roof is on wheels, I want to have a roof. I mean, honestly, I do want a motorhome. I do want to live that type of lifestyle.
I'm considering it at the moment because that would allow me to travel across the country while I do my work, and it's much cheaper than buying a house.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't live in a motorhome. I think they're like a bit environmentally unfriendly.
Maybe. Well, you can just not drive around all the time.
Yeah, I mean. It's just rather than just driving a car back and forth, it's like, well, I just could pick up and move to a different state. And then
but I don't want to drive around in a car. I want to bike. That's why I want to just get a.
Well, bring your bike with you on the motorhome.
But I mean, you can't bike across the country, I guess, unless you're doping like Lance Armstrong, and then you could bike across the entire country.
No, yeah, I suppose, but like I don't know, like if I had to like travel, I guess I'd I don't know. I guess you can actually find buses to take you. It does take quite a while, but you can.
If you like biking so much, you can get a motorcycle.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to like, do my small part to reduce the environmental waste.
So
I would not owning a car, not driving.
That's understandable.
If that's your viewpoint when it comes to pollution and in being friendly to the environment, I would ask that you would read the contrary point of view. Book I recommend is Alex Epstein's book on this, The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels.
You know something, Lapis? I give you a lot of credit for that because you're helping keep nature run its course.
I would disagree with that, but
this is funny. This is a funny article. 1 second, please. This is not an everyday feminism article. This is a actual real article that actually gives a real fact. Okay,
Wait, an article that gives facts? Do they still make those?
Yeah, here we go. Former NBA, NFL athletes estimate marijuana use among players is higher than 80%.
Well, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because, they also are constantly being hit and hurt and things like that. So,
yeah, they need something to dull the pain.
Yeah.
Oh, stupid thing. Ugh, I can't stop.
So many ads.
Stupid ads.
Oh, wait. I see a Starbucks article there.
To be honest,
article.
All right.
I understand Starbucks is very messed up in some of their ways, but I have tried a like a frappe. It's not bad.
Just keep going to Starbucks. We'll get you to leftism yet.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm willing to try some of their frappes.
That guy that got arrested at the Starbucks. It turns out it wasn't, they were just sitting there and all of a sudden some cop came over and arrested them. It was actually, the guy was actually being a complete asshole to the baristas.
Yep.
He was, loitering. He was trying to use the bathroom without buying things. And the thing is if you go into a private business, you buy stuff before you use the facilities.
Depends on the business, of course. Right?
True. I mean, I've done
some
it.
businesses will allow you to do that without buying anything.
I'm not sure what Starbucks policy is.
Their corporate policy is you have to be a customer to use the restroom.
Yeah, and they have a complete right to do that.
And a lot of them in California actually have locks on the bathroom door, and they won't give you the code to that. So it's a combination pad, and they won't give you the code to get into it without being a customer.
Oh, believe me. And this happened in Philly. You have to understand, in Philly, where I'm from, there's a lot of drug use in that area.
Yeah.
So
that's primarily the reason why they have a combination lock on the door.
Yeah.
So and these guys were loitering there, and I think they eventually just got tired of it, and they just called the police, and they came in. I think they should have handcuffed them and walked them out. Maybe not, but just to say that these black men were just doing nothing, and they just got arrested by the cops for no reason. I find no reason.
Waiting around in a store if you're a friend is not really a crime.
No, but it's loitering. And they generally, the cops wouldn't be called in for just loitering and staying around without being a customer. It's because they were causing a disturbance in the store.
Where is the information for your disturbance in the store bit?
That's the reason Starbucks called the cops, is because they were being belligerent. They were causing a scene. They were disrupting commerce in that establishment. That's why the cops were called.
That's one story. That's Starbucks.
Yeah, but the thing is,
what's the other story? That Starbucks, the managers of Starbucks were like, oh, those guys are black, so they can't use our bathrooms? No,
but due to racial biases, they thought that potentially these people who were just waiting for a friend were planning some sort of theft because they associated their skin color with criminality.
Oh yeah.
So these people were not causing a scene or not doing anything. They just asked politely to use the bathroom, and were told they couldn't use the bathroom, and then the cops were called because they didn't leave the store after that?
there's been more ridiculous things that have happened.
Yeah.
People have been shot in America for just being in their backyard.
He said it was highly unlikely, but it could have happened, but he doubts it.
Yeah, but I doubt the Starbucks version too. Like, it's, you know, they have every incentive to not to try to justify their actions.
No.
Until we have 100% video proof, we won't entirely know.
Yeah, and
as the manager of the store, what's the incentive to call the cops on someone just because they're hanging around, not
fear that they might be criminals? You know, if you didn't act and, you know, it resulted in a crime, that's on you.
Also, I hate to play devil's advocate on this one, but we only saw a bit of that film. We didn't see the whole film in entirety.
Yeah. So had the guys bought something from the store, then the Starbucks would have no reason to call the cops for loitering, and then the guys could have robbed the store if that was their intent.
And also, why did anybody because Starbucks have video cameras, and especially in that Starbucks, they have a video camera. Wouldn't the store's video camera show all the evidence?
Yeah.
Ideally, we don't know because we were not privy to that
footage.
So
why haven't they released it to prove their version of the story if they have it?
Yeah.
That is kind of suspicious, but it may have just not been released yet, but we don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, reserve your harsh judgment for these people until we have more evidence.
Yeah.
Wait,
let's just say
being the people who were arrested or the people at Starbucks.
We don't know the full story yet.
Yeah. The people who are arrested. Normally there's another side, and you know, there's quite a lot of. I'm quite.
So there's possibly another side to the people who are arrested, but it's not likely there's another side to the Starbucks story.
There might be, but we don't know yet. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Your version was.
You just want to be fair for both sides.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the most likely scenario given the information we have.
Yeah,
not really. Yeah. We have information from victims and we have information from the defendants, but we have no much proof for either one except a video, which seems to back up the victim's statements.
The fact that the cops showed up and arrested the gentleman kind of implies that there was a reason to arrest them and not just, hey, they're hanging around and we told them to leave and they just don't leave.
Policemen have arrested people for less. People get racially
Let's just avoid this because we don't have full 100% information.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't know for sure, so we should reserve judgment.
Okay, racially profile. You think that there's a problem with that? I'm assuming.
I do.
There is. I'm going to be honest. In Philly, if a black guy walks down with red shoes on, the police will pull them over immediately, thinking they're part of the Bloods.
And so there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
Why is there a problem with that?
Because it's not right to just assume that someone is a criminal because of their skin color or because of.
Okay. So let's assume it was something other than skin color, right? So if 9 out of 10 lawyers that come into your store rob the place, well, are you going to then start checking every lawyer who comes into your store? Odds are that's going to be the case.
But that's not what's happening.
But you mean at the same
time, is what's happening. That's why you can build a profile. But that's why you can single out a particular group based on the reason why there is differential. They're above the average when it comes to those crimes in that area. The reason why, otherwise, you're profiling. Oh, if it's like 1 in 10, why profile?
I mean, the thing is, the thing with profiling is that, you know, the different behavior warrants different actions. If you look at like the crime statistics and pretty much everything that happens in these cities, you know, most of the time, disproportionately, the black population or black men are between like ages 15 through like 25 are responsible for like pretty much just almost like more than like 80% of like all crime that happens in these cities.
They are overrepresented in crime statistics.
I'll agree that they're overrepresented, but I don't think the number is as high as 80-90% of all crime.
I don't think. Okay. Sorry, I just brought 80 up the top of my head. I think
it might have been 60 or 70%.
Exaggerated fears over Black criminality, and that this is something that needs to be tackled in American.
Oh yeah, and you have to, and it's also due to the clothing that's being worn, because in Philly we have two different gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, and you can tell them by the colors of the clothes they wear.
And so people in that area would be knowledgeable of that information, wouldn't they? Like, oh, if you're in certain parts of town, don't wear these colors because you're going to get shot.
No, but it's like, it's still like stupid to expect people to like, oh, wait, I actually walk down the wrong street. Better take off my red shoes. Like, I don't know. Like, why should people have to modify their behavior to, to appeal to other people's silly prejudices?
Yeah, it's bad circumstances. It's just the fact of life. I mean, you may think you may have a moral qualm with it, but when you live in a city that has high crime rates and certain individuals or a certain group of individuals are more likely to commit crimes than others, you're more like, and you see markers that show that person's probably a criminal. You, other than skin color, but also colors of shoes and whatnot. It's just something that has to it's just something that has to be dealt with, you
can find with profiled for rape because your demographic is quite associated with rape, Aspie.
Mm-hmm.
You would be fine with that profile? Men,
would I be fine with thinking people
young men are quite likely
men are overrepresented among rapists?
You would be fine with the profile on them?
Yeah, that's what a profile does. It takes.
Yeah, you have to look at.
Okay, if we're looking for this type of person, or if this person is in a situation where this is more likely to be the result,
and
that's prime suspect.
And let me put a hypothetical situation on what happened there. Pretend the guy who got arrested was just a normal guy who happened to wear a Phillies hat, and the Phillies hat is red. And he's in that store. The barista might assume that he's wearing that red Phillies hat. She's like, "Oh my God, this guy's part of the Bloods."
Okay, so you're making the assumption that the arrest was based on appearance and not action and appearance.
But I'm also saying that could be another situation. We don't truly know what happened. So we have to take all these factors into accord as well.
So, but it sounds like you're saying that we shouldn't take race into account whatsoever. We should just eliminate that from the board.
We should take race into account, but
that would be profiling, which is what.
Yeah, I don't agree with racial profiling.
I don't agree with it either. That's what I'm saying. A lot of things.
I don't think it's so much racial profiling. I think it's more or less cultural profiling.
So you'd be fine with white Southerners being culturally profiled as white supremacists.
Who, me?
Aspie.
Because that doesn't statistically make sense.
Yeah, but it does. They have the flag of a slave state emblazoned all over their country.
No. It doesn't make sense.
In Alabama, they overwhelmingly voted for, they almost elected a pedophile and a person who wanted to abolish the amendment that outlawed slavery.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of misinformation. Not going to touch that. But coming back. Well, I'm going to just accept it as so let's go back to the main point without getting lost in the weed here.
Sure.
You just said profile all white males as white supremacists.
No, I said only by your logic. I don't accept your logic.
No, so that would be true if the majority of white people were white supremacists. Then it would be safe to profile white people as potential white supremacists.
Humane.
It doesn't make sense if 1% of the population is white supremacist and you're profiling the other 99% based on that 1%. Now, if over 50% of the white population is white supremacist, and you encounter a group of white people, you can assume that at least some of them possibly fall into the group of white.
Hey, Patrick wants to show us his fiance.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Come over here. Let's see her. All right.
Hello. Hello.
Sorry, my hair's a mess.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Welcome to the stream.
What's your name?
My actual name is Aaron, but I have many names. So some people call me by my Facebook name, Lynette. Some people call me Kitty, which is my nickname. And on YouTube, I'm Delirium.
Well, a woman
Does
of
each
many
of those
names.
names come with a personality?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of personality.
Yes. All right, I'm going to introduce you to everybody. You know JJ Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
The one next to JJ is Lapis.
Hi, Lapis.
It's a beautiful
Hello.
name. It's a real gem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Christian. That's Aspie. He's really cool.
Hello.
And
Hello.
that's
Nice to meet you.
He's studying a lot about religion, and he's doing a thesis on serial killers.
Oh.
Well, that's my current or new project now that I'm finally done with school. Well, finally for my bachelor's at least.
Well, that's so cool.
I told you she would like it.
Yeah.
It's
in college. I'm in college. I'm a dual major in music and accounting.
Oh.
Can you combine those into a profession and be like
I have a lot of music major friends, and they're always saying how I should be a music major, but I'm like, no. Only because I go to a Christian college, and it's kind of like, I'm not a Christian myself.
They know what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those things of, if I'm going to have a music major, I'm going to go somewhere where the only thing is not going to be specifically on gospel. Like, I understand that religion has a lot of influence on music.
A lot of influence in music. Yeah.
It does have a lot of influence in music, even in modern day society as far as we're concerned. But I would also like it to focus on other things, you know?
And humane, that's something that you could bring against Cold Pan.
What about music being influenced by religion?
Yeah, that's a good part of religion.
Yeah, actually,
and it really is. It really is. I take music history. Our actual system of music actually came from the Catholic Church. I mean, the Greeks had a system that was similar, but it didn't survive. So the Catholic Church in an attempt to unify their liturgy, with the masses and whatnot, with the mass ordinaries. And the antiphons and whatnot, they sent out cantors out to many different churches over. They would learn all of these different songs through oral memorization, and they would go off to different churches all around, and then they would sing the songs for the people in the congregation, and the people would sing them back. It was.
Oh, I'm very much aware. I took a class actually. My school is really weird. Like, we have to take classes that has nothing to do with our major. So apparently music is an option. So of course I took that with pride. And it was kind of sad because there was actually some other people with my major, and they were just not having any respect for the class at all. But meanwhile, I have respect for music because my mom, as I was growing up, she ran the choir, ran the mime, dancing. She played the piano, played the organ. She sang herself, and she also knew a few songs from the flute. Then there's my older sister who tried to self-teach herself the cello, the guitar, and the violin at one point, and she also sings a little bit herself. My little sister is just a straight edge singer. My baby brother tried to play the drums, and then there's me who played the violin, tried to self-teach myself the guitar, and I sing a little bit. So I had a lot of respect for music already.
Yeah.
So going into that class, it was kind of like I was already going in open-minded.
I can see. Learning song. Now we're up in kind of like the 1800s, where we just got past Mozart, where it's just like just like songs like that.
Yeah. I swear to God, with my music major friends, that if we all graduated at the same time, we were all going to do a prank on the whole school where we were just going to get together and sing "Lick My Arse" or whatever that song is called.
Yeah.
Lick Mine Arse. Literally, he wrote a song called Lick My Ass.
It's perfect. We think that would be
Mozart.
Yum yum.
Mozart was essentially a spoiled brat, but he you know, he essentially
wrote I think he was spoiled brat. I think it was he was more like what we would call the punk today.
Yeah.
Like kind of
Mozart was the punk rock of his time.
Yeah.
Mozart is the new
exactly what he was.
Yeah, he really was. Also, Mozart was kind of he kind of had what you would call a Joe Jackson childhood.
Oh yeah.
He was pretty much, ever since he was young, his parents noticed his skill and his talent, so they would essentially he spent his whole life practicing and touring around Europe, and while it gave him a lot of experience and got him a lot of connections, what it didn't do was give him a regular childhood, and I think that until he was old.
Yeah, which contributed.
He's a prodigy.
Being really, really immature.
Yeah, he never developed as a person, and that's clear in his adult life, where lack of responsibility, lack of or focused on anything towards the future. That's why he died penniless and was buried in an unmarked grave. Yeah,
which is really sad because he was really a genius of the time, even though he was immature. Especially, I mean, he was literally like one of the first ones to basically sing against politics. Because if you look at a lot of his plays, they really made a fool out of politics. Like they just made rich people look so stupid while the poor people were smart and always outsmarting them.
The Zingspiels. Also, there was also some of his most famous operas were Don Giovanni and also the Magic Flute, which was actually influenced by a lot of Enlightenment ideals of the time in Europe. There was a lot. The Magic Flute was a very mystical and kind of supernatural play, but it was very interesting for how it explored certain Enlightenment ideals of equality and whatnot. It's a very interesting opera.
Yes, very much so. And then also some of his music was also very influenced by his stepmother, who he always imagined as like this wicked witch, which is why you got that one song. Oh my gosh, I would probably kill myself trying to hit those notes.
But anyway, the Mozart's music, the thing about this kind of classical or Baroque music is that it doesn't put emphasis on high notes. It puts emphasis on a lot of vocal virtuosity. So if you look at like Handel or stuff, like I sang Every Valley from Handel's Messiah. And that's a hard amount. Like there's one part that goes, "Shall it be exalted?" I like that.
Turkey.
Takes a lot of work.
I could tell.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sound surprised, Humane.
Yeah, well, I'm just amazed at how you can just turn that on, like instantly hop into it, and then as if it's like nothing.
Because he has the talent of a musician.
Yeah.
It's about learning how to put everything in positions. You go from to just like that. You know.
No, I'm just saying, going from just talking a normal conversation to straight into singing. That seems like that's kind of amazing how you can just, because usually for me, I got to warm up and get into it, but
yeah. What you guys drinking?
You get yourself into that zone, and then you're like, you're used to
Coca-Cola and some like meat and rice or something.
Oh no, he made some kielbasa and sauerkraut with some pierogies.
That sounds tasty.
It is actually. I'm so glad I got him into cooking. You know, I'm still kind of ticked off, just a little bit. Because when I first met him, he was a typical gamer dude. He had nothing but microwavables in the freezer.
Oh my goodness!
Reminds me of me.
And when I mean stereotypical,
there's something wrong with that.
And when I mean stereotypical gamer, I mean he had the microwavable burritos, he had the Hot Pockets.
I'm still not seeing the problem here.
You see, I'm an exercise science major. It's drilled into my brain about nutrition. And
no, come on. Hot Pockets got your 2 major food groups, right? That's how many there are.
He's got the carbs and the protein.
Not exercising at all.
Yeah.
Nutrients is fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And carbohydrates is supposed to serve as an energy source. But the thing is, if you're not exercising that carbohydrates off, it turns into fat.
Yep.
Yeah, glycan. There's a process which turns glycan into fat, but if you eat like a high protein diet with a lot of meat, the fat just turns right into fat.
Yeah, but you see, he wasn't eating just meat or just protein, which is the issue.
Yeah.
So, of course, when I first met him, and then I opened up his fridge, and I was like, this is not healthy, this is not healthy, this is not healthy. I hear all 5 of my professors just nagging at me at once, and it is not comfortable.
Yeah.
So I came to his wife, I started cooking for him, and then one day I was actually living here at one point. And I was going to work and going to school. And then I said, honey, I have a headache. I'm not feeling well. If I set up the meatloaf, would you keep an eye on it? He didn't answer me back. So I come home and he already set up the meatloaf. He made it right dough. He put the breadcrumbs in it. He put the egg in it. He even stuffed it.
And
then put barbecue sauce and cheese on top of it.
And then the side dishes.
And then he made side with that. And
I'm hungry now.
And he was also making a broth for soup for the next day.
Yeah, I know a lot about. I know a little bit more about nutrition because I've been watching all these vegan channels, and I think I've been brainwashed to a certain extent because. Yeah. What?
Now, I have nothing against vegan diets. In fact, I even like going to a couple of vegan cafes every now and then. Only because sometimes their shit is actually really, really delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're a vegan.
What I don't like are sometimes the vegans are like, hey, I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan.
All right, dude. We know you're vegan. Just go back to eating your cauliflower wings. I'll eat the chicken. Right?
Exactly.
It's like, oh my! It's like I actually like a Wingstop. Do you have Wingstop over there in Philadelphia or no?
Actually, I think we do. It's just not that many of them down here.
We have plenty of chicken wing places.
Chicken wing places, but not specific Wingstop.
Oh yeah.
Like I could swear I saw 1 or 2 around here.
Oh yeah, there's one by the Little Caesars up by me.
Right.
Yeah.
I could swear there was one where the Allied Hobbies was.
That too.
Okay. That's where I know there's one.
Yeah.
I think the best vegan dish I have ever eaten wasn't actually my dish. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings and I ordered wings. My mom ordered a vegan burger, even though she's not vegan. It was like a black bean burger, and my lord, it was good.
Oh no, my favorite. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you keep going.
All right. I think my favorite vegan dish that I have ever had would be this hazelnut cheesesteak, this hazelnut cheesecake that I got from this bar. That is Metal King.
But wait, it's cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange, which is why it freaked me out, because I was like, holy crap, they don't even actually use dairy in this shit, but it's so fucking good. Holy shit.
Yeah, didn't you introduce me to some vegan food I enjoyed? I think you did.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Oh, we went down to South Street.
Well, it has been fun, guys. I do have to go. So,
All right.
Thanks for having me on, even for just a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Really good.
Oh, you're leaving Inhumane?
Yeah, he left.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoops, I invited that Nick Kamara's guy in there. I don't think he's going to come in anyway.
You mean
I doubt he will.
Nick Kazmarek?
The vegan guy.
Oh, don't even get me started on that dude.
he's a nice guy. He's not like most vegans who comes in and they're like, ah! He's very sweet. I mean,
yeah, this coming from when I said meat was good, and he nagged at me for liking meat, even though I have provided some sources that say that meat is beneficial.
It is, though.
It helps prevent Alzheimer's and what was the other cancer? Dementia.
Well, plus the thing about proteins is that it's easier to get your proteins from straight up meat than it is to get from like your beans, your lentils, your seeds, and so on and so forth. Because there's more than just protein. There's like different kinds of proteins and amino acids that come from different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like in order to get the same kind of proteins that you would get in a steak, you gotta eat like 5 different kinds of beans, and then 5 different kinds of seeds, and then this kind, and then this, that, and the other lentil.
Yeah, it's a pain. You have to eat different types of protein because they don't have complete amino acids. So you have to get multiple. I mean, there's multiple plants that have full amino acids like quinoa, but quinoa is not exactly the cheapest thing in the world. So
no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, what is quinoa? Is it like a bean type thing? Is like a
rice.
What is it called? What's it called again?
Quinoa.
Quinoa. Always the type of quinoa I know is a star right now.
Yeah.
You don't get the joke. Did you get the joke? Only quinoa I know that is a star.
And then another fruit or vegetable that actually kind of comes close in a minute.
Okay.
Right. Another fruit or vegetable that actually kind of comes close for giving you some beneficial protein. There's this thing called a jackfruit. It's like 2 times bigger than a freaking pineapple. It's huge. Like one of them could probably feed my family of 5, which is like my aunt, uncle, cousins, and then myself. And basically, you could pull the meat from inside of the jackfruit out, and then make pulled pork out of it. I heard that it was very delicious, but it smells like decay.
You said?
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds lovely. Let's get some.
Yeah. I've heard of another fruit called a durian. That's a pretty
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Nice talking to you two, the effeminate degenerate. Thank you, Lapis.
Lovely meeting your wonderful fiance. Ta-ta for now.
Yeah. Nice talking to you too.
Seriously, the durian, you want to avoid it. I have never smelt it nor eaten it, but I've smelt some nasty stuff. And I imagine that turned up to 11.
Oh, yeah.
That is pretty bad. That's pretty
Remember the first time when you introduced me to jerk chicken?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is a funny story.
Okay. So, I was born and raised inside the West Oak Lane, Mount Airy area, which is like on the other side of the city from where we are right now. And over there is the only place that I would really, really, really hands down trust Jamaican food, because I know some actual Jamaicans around that area.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you which restaurant in that area is the most authentic. So I figured I had a few bucks in my pocket. I'm gonna go down, get myself some jerk chicken, because it's been years to that point that I had some jerk chicken. I bought like a good 15 piece. I decided to leave the sides off because I wasn't really in the mood for the cabbage or the bean rice or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was on my way home, not knowing that he was over at Temple selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I just waited for him, and then he finally came in, and then we finally dug in. His face was total bliss, like he had never eaten before. It was like, have you ever seen Little Nicky?
Have I ever seen what?
Have you ever seen the Adam Sandler movie Little Nicky?
No, I think I might have, but if I did, I don't remember it.
The one where he's basically the son of the devil, and his brothers escaped hell, and so he had to go out to Earth to find them?
Maybe. But
it was the first time Little Nicky had Popeye's chicken was his face.
First time I had Popeye's chicken, that was my face. I mean, Popeye's is, my dad thinks it's bland, but I like it.
Oh,
I need to eat Popeye's chicken.
Popeye's chicken is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say, jerk chicken. Jerk chicken's really good. You can always tell if you're by a Jamaican restaurant because you can always smell the weed. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Got someone who likes your humor.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, them Jamaicans can smoke some weed. Let me tell you, you go to that country, you $6. Yeah, they're like these gigantic just wads of the stuff, but you got to pick the sticks out and everything. Don't ask me how I know this. Yeah, I'm joking.
I'm sorry. With all that weed, I'm still surprised that Bob Marley died. So
yeah,
I think he'd live a long, happy life, but
yeah,
unfortunately,
I've had jerk chicken multiple times. My dad's made it. It's delicious. They use the spices that they use in Jamaica is really good. Well, I think a lot of Jamaican food is actually influenced by African flavor because a lot of them pretty much everybody living in Jamaica, most of the people there are essentially African.
Yeah.
So they influenced by a lot of Caribbean food is influenced a lot by Jamaican culinary culture and tradition.
Especially when I tried oxtail. Oh god.
Oh gosh, if you thought that the jerk chicken was bad.
When he tried the oxtail, he about fell out of his chair, didn't he?
I'm not sure if you have been on Facebook and saw this video of when your white friend has jerk chicken for the first time. And then all it shows is just a black dude comes into an apartment. He has his white roommate, and then he puts the jerk chicken onto the table. And then the white friend decides to be nosy and then checks it out, and then has one bite. And then the next thing you know, he's twerking with another Jamaican chick, doing some Jamaican music. And then he's like, hey, he's just at it and he's just having fun. And then the black friend is kind of walking in like, okay.
He's just like, no, man, no cry, just like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the funniest thing was the only time she almost lost me once to a stack of ribs.
I seriously freaking did it. Funny story. So my godfather decided to have a barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the Whistle Plain area. Mind you, this is a black area.
I stuck out like a sore thumb.
I thought I was going to be the palest person there, but after I bought him, nope.
I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I used to be the palest one in his party. Not anymore. My godfather's son would have been the second lightest. So that just shows you how dark-skinned everybody was in the whole party.
Yeah, I remember. You ever watched live-action Jungle Book?
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
The part I felt like that one scene with Shere Khan and Mowgli at the waterhole. Shere Khan's like, something strange. I smell something. I was like, I feel like at the barbecue, somebody's gonna say, I smell something different. I smell white boy.
Of course, my family is not that rude.
Yeah.
Ooh, Marilyn Manson icon.
Yeah, that's hey. Brandon, Delirium, or Lynette? Lynette, Brandon.
Hey.
So, and mind you, my godfather and my god brother, they both really, really love culinary. In fact, my god brother has a restaurant somewhere. That's from my check. And so he's digging in. He's like, oh my god, all this food is so freaking good. And he almost forgot that he had gastric bypass. And So he's just on the sofa. He's like about to pass out from itis. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so full." I said, "Yeah, because you ate all that damn food. You forgot that you had gastric bypass." and then another part of the family came in, and he's coming in with the big Thanksgiving. You only see these during like Baptist church feast events kind of trays. And then he's walking in. I'm taking care of Pat. I'm patting his head like poor baby. And then all of a sudden the dude comes back in and says, "Oh, by the way, we got ribs in there." He perks up like a dog to steak, like ribs. Now imagine we're sitting just like this, the way you see us now. Now imagine a dust cloud just poofs here. and then he's just gone like Houdini.
Okay, Brandon. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, dude?
I do okay playing Xbox right now.
Yeah, this is Brandon. Ignore Marilyn Manson right over here. No, not Yeah.
Oh, she won't ignore Marilyn Manson. She loves Marilyn Manson like me.
Really? You guys like Marilyn? You guys like that type of music?
I grew up on Marilyn Manson. My older sister, she's the 80s kid. So, of course, I grew up with Marilyn Manson in the house.
This is the rarest thing you ever are going to see. This is going to sound so wrong, but so funny.
Yes, whoever mind to disagree. Yeah, this
is the funniest thing. This is the only black chick I know who loves metal and detests rap music.
I actually do. Like, I remember when rap music and hip hop music wasn't that bad. Like, for instance, Alicia Keys, I keep on falling in and out. You know, I keep on falling in and out of love with you.
I like all music.
Yeah.
Like, when it was that age of hip hop and rap, it was fine because it actually kind of sort of meant something every now and then. Maybe the occasional shit music, like It's Getting Hot Here, you know, but now it just went from, it was like everybody just took It's Getting Hot in Here and then just kind of expanded from there, and now all we have is just shit.
Wild, Wild West.
Oh my god, it's been a while since I heard that one.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's ironic. One of the first songs I ever learned when I was a kid was a rap song, and my dad kept saying the first part of it. It was, "I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other ones can't deny. When a girl walks in with itty bitty waist and around thing in your face, you get sprung." My dad actually taught that to me when I was a baby. I did not know it.
See, I did not learn that until Charlie's Angels came out.
Oh, no.
I remember this one getting jiggy with it.
Oh no.
I remember during the prom, every time that song would come on, the students would start having sex out on the dance floor.
Oh my god.
That reminds me, at prom they would always play Pony by Genuine. I was just oh Lord.
Oh no. Over at my prom, all we did was just bump and grind. I just sat in the corner by myself, eating a brownie or some shit, and texting some other friends that were not in the prom.
No, and you think about these proms, it's normal. You know, if you have normal music, and all of a sudden this turns on, and then all the kids are like, and then it turns into.
Back in my day, the song that really started the sex drive in the prom was "Come on, ride the train and ride it. Come on, ride the train and ride it."
Really? That was the song? It was always, and for me, it was "Back it up like a dump truck. Don't back it up like a dump truck. Look it up. That's a real song. No, it's actually kind of catchy, to be honest with you. It's rather
catchy.
But you know, for me, my proms were just so disappointing because for a senior prom, not senior prom, for a junior prom, it was Hollywood themed. I actually had a friend to come with me. I had on this nice black and golden Chinese dress. and I had my friends dress up in black and gold as well. And it was, and, you know, it was nice and everything. Unfortunately, everybody thought I looked like a served duck. And we tried to enjoy ourselves, but then when I tried to get out on the dance floor and try to do a slow dance or something, a girl about the size of a chihuahua compared to me started bumping the ground behind my leg, and I'm like, if you don't get your ass off my leg. Imagine saying that out loud in a small ass, cheap ass ballroom in a hotel.
You're like, get your ass off of my leg now.
I've done the same thing too.
She sounded like Medea.
What the hell you think you're doing? I'm gonna have to wash my leg 3 times for tonight because of your stink ass. All right.
Oh God, the time
it does sound like Medea. Oh my lord.
Oh my God.
I swear. All right.
I remember when she went off on Debbie, our ex-friend Debbie. She went off on her just like Medea. Get you a red cottage cheese smelling ass out of here right now, bitch.
Okay, hey, bitch. It's just like, it's funny.
Second prom came around, and senior prom, it was a masquerade ball. I had high hopes for this shit, simply because masquerade. I'm thinking we're gonna have some decent Family Opera shit up in this shit. I went in with a bird mask on, that I painted myself with the acrylic paint. It was red with black lace on the face. And then I had on this nice bell sleeve pirate dress I got off of Pyramid Collection with a red red underbust corset. And then I had on some fishnets with floral designs on it and some 6-inch heel boots. Not the 6-inch heel boots. 6-inch heels, they were regular heels, and I've had weave on for the first time, and it was like red on the top, and then it trailed off into black on the bottom, and it was gorgeous. My sister did my face. I looked, I was fly. I was so fly that they had me win Best Swag Award in that prom.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because I went to high school with a bunch of hoodlums, nobody came in with a mask except for 5 creative people, including myself.
Wow.
Jessica has the pirate dress. The underbust corset fell apart. I don't know where the fishnets are. My high heels are inside your closet.
Can
you afford a $100 weave? Exactly.
Weave. I remember I actually saw a funny thing about this. I forgot what this it was a movie with Chris Rock in it. It was called Good Hair, and it was actually looking into the black hair industry. Frankly, there's a big industry around this stuff called straightener. Or no, I think it's called it's something that black women put in their hair so that their hair is long and not twisty and whatnot. Forgot what it's called.
It's not Jerry curl.
It's rather a keratin treatment or perm.
No, it's called perm. It's a relaxer. It's called relaxer. They also talked about the weave industry, where a lot of that hair that they put in like weaves and stuff actually comes from India.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not know that. Most of it comes from India. They women, will go there and they will shave their heads for money. They will grow their hair out, and can go in there and have it shaved. They'll shave it for money.
Yeah, they wear those weaves, and then they get it pulled off at the Jerry Springer show.
Also, no, I think it's by a Hindu ritual where women sacrifice their hair to like a god, but they don't actually sacrifice it to a god. They sacrifice it to some salon in downtown Harlem. But anyway, thing about it was actually a very funny movie, very interesting movie, and and they actually have hair contests. Really, they have like a hair convention like every year in Atlanta, Georgia, where they like have like competitions and stuff to see who can.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, they have barber, and the guy who actually wins it is actually I forgot his name. He's like some gay white guy called John or something. He's like the only white competitor in the whole thing, and he always wins. It's like
I hope it's not John Cookian.
Oh no, it's definitely not John Cookian. It's not John Cookian.
All right, thank God.
It's not. Right. But this guy. It was funny. He went to college for a manicure and hair and whatnot on how to work with hair and what. It was a very interesting documentary. But I also remember it being being very funny as well. Also, I saw some of Chris Rock's old specials. They are pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I like actually more than Chris Rock was Bernie Mac.
Oh.
Yeah.
Laughing like, yep. Yeah. Bernie Mac was hilarious.
He really was, though. It's so sad he died.
Yeah. The way he did, it was a weird death. He didn't like die of like just heart failure or something. He died of like something very weird, like a lung condition, very rare lung condition. It was an odd the way he died.
Yeah. His last movie was with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. He actually was in one of the Madagascar films.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't he the zebra?
No, that was Chris Rock.
Oh, that was Chris Rock, yeah.
Yeah, crack-a-lackin'. That's definitely Chris Rock. All right. But Bernie Mac was playing Alex's father, long-lost father in Africa. But anyway, it was a very Bernie Mac was hilarious. I remember watching one of his old he went on this TV show and the crowd was very rowdy. He was having a hard time. Yeah. Well, not the show. It was like an old before the Bernie Mac show, way before the Bernie Mac show, like way before the original Kings of Comedy. It was another thing. It was another you went on like this live comedy show where they have like it was a variety show for comedians and the crowd, and they were having a hard time controlling the crowd because frankly they had some really bad acts and the crowd was starting to get rowdy, and Bernie Mac walks in is all like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I ain't come to play with y'all. I ain't come to play. All right, you're gonna be some shit in there tonight. Anyway, he was it was one of the best it was like one of the best comedy skits I'd ever seen. It was hilarious. Bernie Mac was a true talent. It was sad we lost him the way he did because the guy was amazing.
It's been almost 10 years, actually.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
True.
No, it's been more than 10 years. He died in 2005.
Yeah, I remember he was in the first Transformers movie.
Yeah, he died like.
I thought he passed away in 2008.
He died like maybe a year after Michael Jackson, like a year or two after Michael Jackson, around that bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, when Michael Jackson died, that was pretty sad. I mean, he touched millions of fans around the world, and
oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, bad joke.
It said his date of birth was August 9th of 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. I always say you can like Michael Jackson, the singer, but I mean, you can like Michael Jackson, the music, but Michael Jackson, the person, he was more of a conundrum than I am at the time.
All right. Hey, if some other guy wants to join my live stream, it's Connor Johnson. Yeah.
Never heard of him.
He's a friend of mine. Nice guy. Sure. All right. 1 second, please. He'll come in for a few minutes. All right. There you go. There we go. He should be in here in a few seconds.
Right.
Anyway.
I hope the itis will kick in.
It won't.
Okay.
Trust me, I just came up from a 2.5. I mean, not 2.5, a 1.5 hour nap. I'm good.
Okay.
And then I had coffee before I got here.
Oh yeah, remember the first time I got itis? It was so funny.
Yeah, you thought you could never get itis, and I said, no.
Yeah, the joke was she's like, oh God, I feel so tired after eating your cooking, honey.
And I said, honey, that's the itis.
I can't get the itis. I'm white.
Yeah, but a black person just cooked. You're going to get itis.
And and I crashed.
Yes, it did.
Itis, what's that?
That was the most silent night that day. That was the most silent night that day.
Yeah. Yeah, she has many names for me as well. Permanent alcoholic because she says I'm a whiner all the time.
No, you got that wrong. You're the reason why I became an alcoholic. There's a difference.
The other nickname is Krylo Ren.
That's
Krylo Ren.
Krylo Ren.
I kinda also.
I remember the first time, like for my birthday, I was joking with her, like she's like, "It's your birthday coming up. What kind of cake you want? I want a Kylo Ren cake. Give me a Kylo Ren cake. I want a Kylo Ren cake." She goes like this.
Han Solo gave Kylo Ren that Kylo Ren cake, and what did Han Solo get?
A lightsaber in the chest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I flipped on my nephew with that once. He was in the store asking for a candy bar. I'm like, Han Solo got his son a candy bar, and what did Han Solo get in return for that candy bar? A lightsaber in the chest. And my nephew like, I don't want to be Kylo Ren.
That's funny. All right.
But what he ended up getting that day was a Kylo Ren mask,
which I wear
every now and then.
I got 4 stars on me.
And then a whole bunch of brownie.
Oh yeah, those brownie cupcakes are good. Her brownies are like drugs. They're so good.
For real though, back in high school, I actually did like an underground sale on brownies. Actually had like the whole formula out and everything of how I made them, the prices, and so on and so forth. I made up to anywhere from $20 to $60 a week.
Interesting. Hey, by the way, what's crap, I already forgot your fiance's name. Sorry, Conundrum.
Oh, Delirium.
Delirium. The Conundrum and Delirium. Gotcha. So Delirium, actually I was wondering what your name of your YouTube channel was. Delirium, so
Conspiracy.
Yeah. I guess Connor's not coming in. Anyway, he anyway, what time is it? It's
did you watch that video yet? The Valentine's Day video?
The what video?
The Valentine's Day video.
It's a bit rough because it was my first YouTube video.
All right, I know I haven't, but I'll go watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was in a mask the whole time. And the thing is, I was using miming for my bits. Oh, the best part was the chocolate heart. He actually got me a real chocolate heart, and I don't mean like one that's like. I mean a chocolate human heart.
Hey there.
Oh my.
Hey Connor.
How do you get one of those?
They're really yummy.
Yeah. Over here.
Chocolate human heart.
Like over here in Philly, there is this place called the Reading Terminal. The Reading Terminal is basically like the supermarket of supermarkets. You can find Amish stores, gourmet donut stores, one of the best hoagie places in town, etc., etc. But there's also the specific chocolate shop where their specialty is making anatomically correct body parts in chocolate.
Wow.
And
how unusual.
Whoa.
So they have like shapes of liver, shapes of kidneys. They even have hearts. So for Valentine's,
cool.
And for the longest time, ever since I was in high school and knew about this place, I said, if I ever see the day that I can actually keep a boyfriend on Valentine's Day, I would get him that. And that would be the first one. So that I got him.
And every Valentine's Day, I will get her a chocolate heart, like a little chocolate Valentine's Day heart. And I always say something to her that's really funny. That's what I always say.
He recites the lines from Off the Pirates of the Caribbean that Davy Jones says to Calypso.
My heart will always be with you.
Well, now I'm hungry. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. I haven't had.
All right, we're gonna get going anyway. Cause
me too. I need to go. I need to make myself dinner and go to bed.
All right.
I need to get to bed soon as well.
All right. It was nice talking with all of you.
All right. See ya.
Bye, everybody. Aspie out. It was nice talking with you all.